What's going on YouTube? My name is Chris and welcome to ImmodderNation. Today I'm going to show you my gear. Oh, come on! Whatever. It's not like YouTubers make money off of ads anymore anyway. So I've been running this YouTube channel now for about 4 months. One of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of YouTubers are very big about their gear. Some are kind of bragging a little bit, if you know what I mean. A lot of YouTubers have gone to great lengths to explain their recording setups. This includes detailed lists inside of the video description. Not only am I going to put my gear list inside the video description, complete with Amazon affiliate links, which you should click below, but also I'm going to explain the gear that I have and why I made the decisions that I did. Let's take a look at my gear. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, Chris, I thought your gear would be bigger. To which I reply,
no comment.
But when you're recording on a budget, it's important that you focus on the things that you need. All right, so the first thing and the most important thing that I want to talk about is the camera. The camera that I'm using, which you can't see because it's currently recording this video, is a Canon Rebel T5i. Overseas, this is known as the Canon 700D. This is what many photographers consider to be an entry-level DSLR camera. Now, these cameras are intended predominantly for taking pictures, and they don't produce the best video content. However, they are affordable and they are a great way to start out a YouTube channel. The Canon 70D has become kind of the mainstream camera for YouTubers. The Canon 70D is the unofficial YouTuber's camera. But the thing that I've noticed and what other people have reported between the T5i and the 70D is that there isn't a huge difference in the video quality. Now, that will change when it comes to taking pictures. The Canon 70D has a bigger sensor, it has more focus points, and so you're gonna get better picture quality. But as far as video goes, I'd say they're about comparable. Now, of course, somebody in the comments section is gonna say, no, Chris, you're wrong, you're totally wrong. The 70D is much superior. I would say, prove it. No, I mean, seriously, prove it. I would love to see a side-by-side comparison because I've seen comparison videos on YouTube, and honestly, YouTube compresses the video so much that I can't really see a noticeable difference. But that also depends on the type of glass that you're using, and by glass, I mean lenses. So let's talk about lenses. The lens that came with my camera is the Canon EFS 1855 zoom lens. Now, this is what they consider to be the stock lens. This is the lens that comes with your camera. And overall, it's a decent lens. Canon produces great quality lenses. This has both autofocus and manual and optic image stabilization, which is good if you're a run and gun kind of camera person. This lens has an STM stepper motor, and what that means is that when it is autofocusing during video, you won't hear it in the video playback. I've used this lens a lot in my earlier videos, so any of my overhead shots, such as the Steam Link videos, the overhead shots in the TV LED backlight, I use this almost exclusively. Essentially, most overhead or over-the-shoulder shots have been done with this lens. Next, we're going to talk about this tiny little lens. This is a Canon EFS 24mm pancake lens. So as you can see, it's very tiny. And what about it? What, do you think size is important? Size isn't important, it's the quality that matters. So this lens is a prime lens, which means that it doesn't zoom in and out. It only stays at 24mm. I use this lens a lot for the talking head portions of the video, which are usually the beginning and the end. So wait a minute, if you're using this lens, what lens am I using right now? I'm just kidding, guys. So it turns out that I'm using another 24mm EFS. That's right, I have two lenses. The Y is not important. So now that we've talked about lenses, let's talk about powering the camera. Now, I use the traditional Canon battery that comes with it, but a lot of times, especially for long shots like this, I need a little bit more power. So instead, I bought this power adapter. What's great about this is it has this adapter that plugs in where the battery would. In fact, it's the same size and shape as a battery. It comes with this adapter cable that simply plugs in, and there is a little rubber flap in the battery compartment on the bottom of the camera that allows this cable to exit out. And what I can do is this allows me to plug my camera into the wall so that I have continuous power throughout my video shoot. These are almost crucial if you're gonna do video. If you're doing specifically pictures alone, you probably don't need something like this. But for video, these are an excellent investment, and you can find the link to this in the video description below. So I don't always use my DSLR for video. Sometimes when I'm filming or I'm streaming, I use a webcam. And so I have this camera here. This is a Logitech C910. This is an older version. There's actually a newer one called the C920. Which I'll provide a link to in the video description. It's a really good camera. It uses a Carl Zeiss lens, 1080p video. Is it gonna be as good as an iPhone or a DSLR? No, of course not. But for a webcam that's under $100, this is still a really good purchase. We've talked about the camera, let's talk about the camera accessories. So the first thing I wanna talk about is the tripod. The tripod that I'm currently using for this video is an Albert 70-inch tripod. The reason why I picked this tripod was because, well, it was on sale. There was a wonderful sale on Prime Day, and I picked this up for a very affordable price. So the next thing I'm gonna talk about is a little bit unusual. I've never actually used it for any of my YouTube videos. This is called a handheld camera stabilizer. Some people have referred to this as a Steadicam. And what it allows you to do is to walk and get those really steady shots. You see a lot of people with Steadicams do this. This is a 40 centimeter one. It's an S40. Comes with the weights on the bottom to counter stabilize it. This is adjustable. So if you need to adjust that. We have some adjustable sliders on the top so you can adjust where the camera is. And that's really fun to do. But it's got a ball bearing on a gimbal. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a ball bearing on a gimbal in here that allows it to swing freely like that. So these are really good for conferences, and I use this to record some video from TwitchCon last year, which reminds me I need to edit and publish that. Whoops. Let's talk about stands. So this kind of goes into the category of lighting, but I bought a lot of extra stands just so I'd have them. These stands are really cheap. Sometimes you might find them under the name Limo Studio or Cowboy Studio. You can pick them up on eBay. Super cheap. You just kind of stand them up. They're locking, so you can kind of adjust them like this and set them up. These go all the way up to 7 feet in height, and I have 2 of them. And oftentimes you can find them on eBay. You get a pair of them for like 20 bucks. They're super cheap. I encourage you to get a couple of them. We talked about camera equipment. Let's talk about sound. The first thing I want to talk about is the audio that you're hearing right now. This is coming through a Rode VideoMic omnidirectional condenser microphone. This is actually the older version of the VideoMic omnidirectional condenser, which can be found on Amazon for about, I think 130, somewhere around there. I got the older model, which is just as good, and I got it used for about 50 bucks. The best feature of all is that it plugs directly into your camera, so I don't have to include a separate recorder to record the audio. If you've seen some of my videos before, you know that I like to do a lot of voiceovers, and I do that with this condenser microphone. This is an Audio-Technica AT2020. Now there are 2 versions of the AT2020. There's the XLR version and there's the USB one. This is the XLR version. I have here an Alesis Multimix 4. This is an XLR to USB mixer. This plugs directly into my desktop computer and it allows me to record voiceovers in software. This also has phantom power, which a lot of condenser microphones require. It's got low filter, high filter. You have gain adjustment, high pass, got a levels meter. It's a nice handy little box. I think I got this one used for about $60 on eBay. I would argue that there are other better mixers for that price, but it's hard to beat 60 bucks. I mean, if you can find one of these, I would say pick it up because these things are awesome. And they're small enough that they fit on your desk. You can kind of tuck them underneath your monitor so you can set your settings and forget it. I'm kind of a stickler for control, so I like the ability to adjust the settings of my sound before it goes into the computer. A lot of people have no problem adjusting their sound with software. I like to do it on the fly. So that's why I have a mixer. So for a lot of you that have been following my YouTube, you know that I recently upgraded my lighting. I purchased a couple of softbox lights, which have dramatically improved the quality of my videos. And if you haven't seen my unboxing and installation video, you can watch it by clicking on the card in the upper right corner. For a majority of my other YouTube videos, I was using these clamp lights. Now, you could pick these up at a hardware store They're like, I think they're like $6 each. They're pretty affordable. I mean, you plug them straight in. They've got a switch. You just on and off. I was using these monster bulbs inside of them. These are Fate Electric, but yeah, these things, I mean, they're pretty massive and they get pretty bright. I would say 2 of these are almost as bright as my softbox. The problem that I had with these lights is that they're 6500K, so they're a little bit on the blue side. They don't exactly give me natural daylight. Whereas the softboxes that I'm using currently are 5500K, so they're more in tune to natural daylight. Still, these are incredibly bright, incredibly powerful. They were about $20 a piece, and I have 3 of them. 2 of them that I use and 1 is a backup. Chris view. So this is what I see when I'm recording. I've got 1 softbox to my left and I've got another softbox to my right, and they are on 7-foot stands, and I've got my tripod in the middle. I think in retrospect, if I could go back and change things, I would have bought the softboxes instead of my DIY lighting set. The softboxes I purchased for $89, and if you do the math, you have 2 light bulbs, that's $40. You've got 2 reflectors, that's $16, so that's $56. Plus you have the stand, so the stands, which were $20. So you're looking at $76 for my DIY lighting versus $90 for these softboxes. And the softboxes are considerably better. Now, I don't use this next piece of equipment much anymore, but when I had my old DIY lighting, I was using this almost exclusively. This is a Neewer 48 macro ring light. The way that it works is that it attaches to the front of your lens. This section goes on the hot shoe mount, and then it has a power supply to plug it in. I use this almost exclusively to illuminate my face. One of the things that I noticed with my DIY lighting is that my face was always very dark, so I needed to have this light in order to brighten up my face a little bit. Now that I have these softbox lights, I don't really use it much anymore. I use it more for my stream to illuminate my face when I'm doing a lot of green screen work. This next light that I have, I actually thought was gonna be a bad purchase at the beginning. This is a CN160 light. It runs on 6 AA batteries. Originally, I thought that these lights were gonna be powerful enough to light up my YouTube setup.
Boy, was I wrong.
So when I finally got these lights, I realized that they weren't bright enough, and I thought, well, crap, I just wasted $20 on these lights. But I found some other really good uses for it. I discovered that these lights come with filters. And so you can change the hue of the lighting to whatever color you want. So if you want to do like a yellow filter, you can drop in a yellow. Or my personal favorite, I like the blue. You probably saw these lights when I did the blue accent lighting with the Synology NAS server. I also use these to do some blue accents on the NES box in my NES versus NES Classic review. By the way, any of these videos that I'm mentioning, if you want to watch them, you can watch them by clicking on the card in the upper right corner. So thanks for checking out my gear. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, hit that like button. Join the nation and get subscribed by clicking on the subscribe button below. And when you do, make sure you click on the bell icon inside of the subscribe button to get notified the moment that I release new YouTube videos. And if you're interested in purchasing any of the gear that was featured in today's video, you can find the Amazon affiliate links in the video description below. If you have any other questions or comments, you could reach me by social media. I'm available via Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can always catch me every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you next time.